A woman at a high-end hotel pool ordered me to move from my lounge chair, saying, "I deserve the best spot because I spend more." I refused, and she called the manager, only for him to smile at me and say, "Miss, your complimentary champagne is on the way." The woman's face twisted in rage as she was escorted to the public seating area. I was staying at the Four Seasons Resort in Scottsdale, Arizona, for a weekend getaway. After settling into my room, I headed to the pool area to relax. I found an empty lounge chair under a large umbrella, laid down my towel, and began to unwind with a book. Not long after, a woman approached me, dressed in designer swimwear and wearing oversized sunglasses. She said, "Excuse me, I believe you're in my spot." I looked up and replied, "I'm sorry, but I didn't see any personal items here. I thought it was available." She huffed and said, "Well, I always sit here. I'm a Platinum Elite member, and I spend a lot of money at this resort. I deserve the best spot." I remained calm and said, "I understand, but I was here first. There are other chairs available." Her tone sharpened as she said, "Listen, I don't think you understand who I am. I expect you to move." I stood my ground and replied, "I'm sorry, but I'm not moving." Frustrated, she stormed off and returned moments later with the pool manager. She began, "Sir, this guest is refusing to vacate my usual spot. As a Platinum Elite member, I expect better service." The manager turned to me and asked, "Is there a problem here?" I explained the situation, emphasizing that the chair was unoccupied when I arrived. The manager smiled warmly at me and said, "Miss, your complimentary champagne is on the way." He then turned to the woman and said, "Ma'am, we have a policy that lounge chairs are available on a first-come, first-served basis. I'm afraid you'll need to find another seat." Her face turned red with anger as she exclaimed, "This is unacceptable." The manager replied firmly, "I'm sorry, but those are the rules." As the woman was escorted to the public seating area, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. Moments later, a server arrived with a chilled glass of champagne and said, "Compliments of the manager." I raised my glass, savoring the sweet taste of victory. The rest of the weekend was blissful. I enjoyed the pool, the spa, and the serene desert landscape. The incident with the entitled guest became a humorous anecdote to share with friends and family. Sometimes, standing your ground and remaining polite can lead to the most satisfying outcomes. She didn't stay in the public seating area. About 15 minutes after the whole scene with the manager, I saw her again. She was at the far end of the pool, whispering to a staff member while pointing at me. I couldn't hear what she said, but the look on her face was enough. You know that fake smile some people wear when they're furious? That was her. Sharp, tight eyes like knives. I stayed calm. I wasn't doing anything wrong. Just lounging. Sipping my champagne. Reading. But from then on, something changed. Every few minutes, a staff member would walk by and glance at me. Some looked confused. Others tried not to look at all. The energy shifted. I didn't feel relaxed anymore. An hour later, I decided to go to the bar for a light lunch. I left my towel and book on the chair to hold my spot, as people usually do. When I returned about 20 minutes later, my things were gone. Completely gone. Not moved. Not folded. Just gone. And guess who was sitting in my chair? Her. The woman from earlier. She had her phone in one hand, a drink in the other, and was talking loudly to someone on speaker. She saw me, smiled real slow, then went back to her call like I wasn't even there. I went straight to the front desk. This time, a different manager was on duty. A younger guy, seemed a little nervous when I explained what happened. He radioed someone and said he'd get back to me shortly. 10 minutes later, the first manager, the one who brought me the champagne, came walking up. He was calm, but I could tell he was annoyed. Not with me, with the situation. "I'm sorry about this," he said. "Let me check where your items were taken." We walked back together. She was still in the chair, still on the phone. When the manager asked her if she had seen any personal items there earlier, She shrugged and said, "Nothing was here when I sat down." I spoke up. "That's a lie. My towel, my book, even my sunglasses were right there." She snapped. "Why are you even still here? This is a luxury resort. You don't belong here." That hit hard. Not because I believed it, but because she said it like she meant it. The manager stayed professional. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to vacate the chair. We'll help you find another one." She exploded. "You're kicking me out again? Do you even know how much I pay to stay here? Do you know who my husband is?" There it was. That phrase. The husband card. At that moment, something clicked. I remembered seeing a photo in the lobby of a donor wall. One of the last names was the same as the one embroidered on her tote bag. It dawned on me, her husband might actually be someone important to the hotel. But that didn't change the facts. I told the manager. She stole my spot and lied about it. If that's okay here, just say it. That put him in a tight spot. He told her firmly, "This isn't about money or who someone is. It's about respecting other guests. Please move, or I'll have to involve security." She laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Fine. Let's see what my husband says about this." But she left. When I got my seat back, after staff found my book and sunglasses in the lost and found bin, weirdly, I felt something else. This wasn't just over. This was going somewhere deeper. Because the next morning, I got a knock at my door. And standing there was a man in a suit, holding a folder, asking if he could have a word. He introduced himself as Marcus, the hotel's guest services liaison or something like that. The kind of guy who deals with delicate matters. His smile was tight. His tone, overly polite. "Miss, I'm here on behalf of the resort administration to address a concern that's been brought to our attention regarding your behavior at the pool yesterday." I blinked. "My behavior?" He nodded, flipping open the folder. Inside was a printed complaint. "It's been reported that you created a scene, raised your voice, and used language that made another guest feel unsafe." I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. "Are you serious? She's the one who stole my stuff and called me a nobody." He didn't respond. He was reading from a script now. "We value all our guests equally. However, we do ask that disputes be handled calmly. We've arranged for you to enjoy the spa today at no charge, and we kindly request you avoid the main pool area for the remainder of your stay." There it was. The twist. They were pushing me away without saying the words. "I'm being banned from the pool." He shook his head, still smiling. "Not banned. Just redirected. For everyone's comfort." I said, "Because her husband has money." He didn't deny it. That's when I decided I wasn't just going to let this go. I wasn't rich. But I worked in media. Local, small town, sure, but I had reach. And I knew how to tell a story. I spent the day at the spa, all right. But while soaking in the mineral bath, I started typing up a post. I laid it all out. No names. No hotel brand. Just facts. I hit post. That night. The next morning, it had over 40,000 shares. Comments flooded in, people with similar experiences, stories about entitled guests, rich spouses throwing weight around. A couple local reporters messaged me, asking for an interview. I said no. I wasn't trying to be famous. I just wanted someone to know how this resort treated people. Then something wild happened. A woman I didn't know messaged me privately. She said she used to work at the same hotel. Said the woman I mentioned? Her name was Sophia. And yes, her husband was on the donor wall, but not just a donor. He was part of the ownership group. Silent partner, apparently. She added, "This isn't the first time she's done this. Last time, the hotel quietly comped the other guests' entire stay to shut them up." I forwarded that message to the resort's PR email. No response. 2 days later, a letter was slipped under my door. A formal apology. From the general manager. They offered me a 3-night complimentary stay at any of their locations, a written apology signed by both the manager and the liaison Marcus, and a note saying the guest in question had been spoken to. But that wasn't the end. That night, while I was packing, I got another message. From the woman who'd been kicked out of the pool. Sophia. She'd found my account somehow. Her message read, "You don't know who you're messing with. Enjoy your little moment." That told me 2 things. 1, she knew I'd gone public. 2, this wasn't over. So I stayed an extra day. I paid out of pocket. Didn't even use their voucher. I wanted to see how far this rabbit hole went. And I didn't have to wait long. The next morning, my car, a rental parked in the hotel garage, was keyed. Deep, angry lines down both sides. And on the windshield? A paper. Just one word in red ink: liar. This was no longer about a lounge chair. I stood in the hotel garage staring at the deep scratches on both sides of the car. The red ink note on the windshield felt childish, but also personal. Too personal. I took a photo of everything, filed a report with the front desk and with local police. The hotel security reviewed the garage camera footage. And yes, there it was. Clear as day. Sophia. In sunglasses, hoodie pulled over her head, walking right up to the car late at night. Holding her keys like a weapon. They confirmed it was her. But then they hesitated. Security said they needed to escalate this to the upper management team, and legal would be in touch. Which meant stall, hide, wait for it to go away. But I wasn't waiting. I uploaded the video stills online. No names, but again, facts. This time I included the scratched car, the note, everything. I didn't just post it, I sent it to a dozen hotel blogs, travel YouTubers, even influencers who cover customer service horror stories. By the end of that day, the post had gone viral. That same night I got a call. It wasn't from the hotel. It was from a journalist from Phoenix who had been investigating shady partnerships between luxury hotels and local real estate developers. She had heard of Sophia's husband before. He had a reputation. Lawsuits. Silenced workers. Private settlements. She asked if I'd talk. I agreed. On the record. Things snowballed fast. A few days later, news broke. A well-known silent partner in multiple resorts across the Southwest was under investigation for financial fraud and harassment claims. Anonymous sources came forward, former staff, ex-partners, all telling the same stories. Then something unexpected happened. The hotel released a statement. Public. Corporate written, but it did the job. They acknowledged the incident. They apologized for how it was handled. They announced the woman involved was banned indefinitely from all their properties. And they offered me an all-expenses-paid trip anywhere in the country, first class, luxury suite, spa included. They even named me. But by then, I didn't want their trip. Here's where I messed up, though. I got caught up in the noise. The media, the praise online, the "You go girl" comments. I liked it too much. I kept pushing the story. I gave more interviews. I leaned into the drama. I stopped being just a woman who stood up for herself at a pool, and started becoming a symbol of revenge. And that power? It changed me a little. People from work started whispering that I was the lounge chair woman. Friends got tired of hearing the same story. One close friend said, "You won, why keep swinging?" She was right. But it wasn't until I got a message from Sophia's daughter, yes, her daughter, that I really felt the cost. She messaged me privately. Said she was 17. Said her mom had always been a nightmare. But this had ruined their lives. Her dad was facing legal trouble. Her mom was basically in hiding. She wrote, "I get why you did it. But it's still hard to watch my family fall apart online every day." That hit like a truck. I stared at her message for a long time. I thought about everything. The pool chair. The champagne. The scratched car. The media whirlwind. The threats. The wins. the losers. And yeah, some of it had gone too far. Maybe I could have stopped earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have posted again and again. So I wrote back. You're not responsible for your parents' choices. I'm sorry this affected you. I really am. And then I logged out. I deleted the account I used to post everything. I walked away. Revenge felt good at first. Really good. But it had teeth. Sharp ones. In the end, I got justice. But not peace. Not fully. Because when you go after someone like that, even someone who deserves it, you don't walk away clean. Neither do they. And maybe that's how it should be.